In the realm of web development, units can be categorized into two types: absolute and relative. Absolute units offer precise control over your site's layout, but they don't adjust to the size of your viewport, making them non-responsive. On the other hand, relative units dynamically adjust according to the size or context of their parent element, making them a better choice for creating responsive and flexible sites. The type of unit you choose ultimately depends on what you're aiming to build. In Editor 2.0, we predominantly use one absolute unit, the pixel, which you may already be familiar with, and a few relative units: percentage, viewport height, viewport width, and the pseudo-unit auto. We will look at these units in greater depth later. In this lesson, we aim to provide a high-level understanding of absolute versus relative units. We will be working with one unit of each type, the pixel and the percentage. And to help me illustrate this, we will be using the familiar English fairy tale, Jack and the Beanstalk. For those unfamiliar, Jack is a poor boy who trades his family's cow for magic beans. These beans grow into a beanstalk that reaches into the clouds. On the left-hand side, we have Jack, and on the right, we have the beanstalk. Below our two unlikely guests, we display their sizes in pixels. The numbers you see in green change dynamically based on the size of the images. For instance, if our beanstalk is resized from 168 pixels to 200 pixels, this change will also be reflected in the pixel count. You'll notice that currently, both our beanstalk and Jack have a width of 168 pixels. Because they both have a fixed width of 168 pixels, when we preview the site and resize the viewport to take up its entire width, neither Jack nor the beanstalk respond. Their size does not change depending on the viewport, because they have a fixed width of 168 pixels. Let's go ahead and change that. This time, we'll change the unit type of our beanstalk from 168 pixels to its equivalent in percentage, which is 17.1%. You might be wondering, 17.1% of what? Well, our relative units, as the name suggests, are relative to something else. In this case, the parent element, or container. To identify this parent element, simply look at the top of the design panel. In the breadcrumb, the element right before our current one is the parent container. We can click here, and we'll be taken to our parent container. When we instruct the beanstalk to take up 17% of the width, we're actually telling it to take up 17.1% of the inner column's width. Upon previewing, you'll notice a subtle change in the size of our beanstalk. It's increased from 168 pixels to about 175. This is a 7-ish pixel increase. The reason for this small increase becomes clear when we return to the editor. Currently, our viewport includes the side panel. However, when we preview, the side panel disappears, effectively giving us more viewport to work with. As we increase the size of our viewport, by the way, the size of the entire viewport can be seen at the top right of the screen, the beanstalk also grows in response to the resizing of the browser, continually getting bigger. However, Jack, who has a fixed width of 168 pixels, does not respond to the adjustment of the browser.